It's the USF coming back at you like I never left. So, if you're not subscribed to your USF gang, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like, comment your opinion below, turn on post notifications so you know every time I got some content for you. But we're going to get right into these picks and predictions. So, I'm a little late doing this video. The Thursday night football game is going on, so I'm going to go ahead and skip out on that pick and go ahead and get into these Sunday game. First game we have is the Tennessee Titans versus the LA Chargers. Now you look at this game is being played in London. You're looking at the Tennessee Titans team that's coming off a 21-0 loss to the Baltimore Ravens, while the LA Chargers come off a win against the Cleveland Browns. You look at both of these teams and you see a team that looks like it's poised to be an AFC contender in the LA Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, Tennessee had a slew of good games at the beginning of the season. They kind of fell off right now. You look at the LA Chargers, who only lost to the Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Rams. So when you look at this in totality, you look at two teams that are decent teams. I mean, we really don't know too much about the Chargers, but they look like they should go trending in the direction of being great. Like I said, this game is being played in London. Who do I have winning this game? You look at a team like the Chargers, who dynamic on offense. Tyrell Williams has been doing good. Melvin Gordon has been doing good. Phillip Rivers has been balling out his mind. So this game right here is going to be something to see. But at the same time, look, the Tennessee Titans are coming off a blowout loss, and the LA Chargers are coming off a high win. And the Chargers do Charger things. So with that being said, I have the Tennessee Titans going into London and getting a victory here. Let's move on. We have the Cleveland Browns versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is being played at Tampa Bay. The Cleveland Browns, like I said, have came off a loss to the LA Chargers, a blowout loss. You look at the fact that the Buccaneers come off a loss to a division rival in the Falcons. You look at that, and then coming to this game, I like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston balled out of his mind coming back. Just being a few games removed from a suspension. You look at that and you have the Browns. Baker Mayfield, is he the guy? I'm very high on Baker Mayfield, but will he get it done here against a Jameis Winston-led Buccaneers team at Tampa Bay? You look at a team like that, and I'm going to go with the Bucs to win this game simply because I feel like the Bucs are a better team right now. The Browns are a tough, nitty-gritty team, very physical team. They can put up points. They can play defense. I mean, they can do most of the two things. It's very young and inexperienced right now, but I have Jameis Winston coming in here and winning that game at home. Let's move on to the Carolina Panthers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. You look at the fact that you have a Panthers team that came off a loss against the Washington Redskins, and the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a big win against the New York Giants and starting to hit their stride a bit. You look at the fact that you have that coming to this game. Okay, I'm really not too high on Cam Newton this season. I wasn't too high on what they was putting out, talking about they have Noah Turner in there, trying to make Cam Newton into a precision passer. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are the two Super Bowl champions, coming off a little hangover. Now they coming back into their own. Will they win this game? And I feel like they will. It's tough to win. It's tough to get beat at home, especially when you're the Philadelphia Eagles with that home crowd. I feel like the Panthers are not really that team right now. They are the number one rushing team in the NFL, number one, number two, one of those. So that may play factor into making this game a little closer than it should be, but I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game at home. Let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Jets. You look at the fact that the New York Jets are coming off a big win against a Indianapolis Colts team, a big confidence booster for a young team. Minnesota Vikings are coming off another win in which they beat the Arizona Cardinals 27-17. So this game right here could be a good one, but inconsistent play by the New York Jets. I don't know if they're starting to figure it out yet, but before the season, I had this defense being very good, being that it's young and feisty, and those type of defense tend to strive in the NFL, having a chip on your shoulder type defenses. But I have Minnesota rolling here. I think this thing starts to go for the Minnesota Vikings in their season. You start seeing them hit their stride. I feel like at New York, they're poised to beat them. So I got the Minnesota Vikings winning here. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions versus the Miami Dolphins. Now, I like Detroit. I really do. I really like Detroit basically because they have some of that Patriot vibe going on, that discipline vibe that you haven't seen down there. And I wouldn't count them out of the NFC North just yet. I mean, they're one of the more complete teams, in my opinion, in that division. and they're going to face a tough Dolphins team that Brock Osweiler, he was putting up points last week against the Chicago Bears. Now, when I look at this game, who do I see winning? Now, this one's a tough one. I don't know what I get from Brock Osweiler, being that he's been up and down for the past few years, and I don't really trust him. So I'm going to go with the Lions. I feel like they're a very, very disciplined team. I feel like Matt Patricia has everything going for him down there right now, and they can easily make them into a 500 team with this win. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions winning at Miami. Let's move on to the New England Patriots versus Chicago Bears. We're looking at, some people call the Chicago Bears playoff contenders. Some people are calling them one of the best NFC teams. I call them, they're mediocre in my eyes. But I look at this game right here. It's being played at Chicago. Will that defense show up against Tom Brady, the GOAT? If this defense can prove that it's for real against Tom Brady, make him have some problems with this defense, then I can be on that hype train. But right now, I'm not too high on Mitchell Trubisky being your quarterback, leading that defense. I mean, you've seen Blake Bortles do it last year, but Mitchell Trubisky should be slightly better. But at the same time, I really don't trust him right now, being that he's young. I need to see some more, is what I'm saying. I'm not totally counting out the Bears, but at the same time, I do need to see some more from that defense. If they can prove it this game, make this game competitive, make it close, and even if they win this game, that would be something to see. So I do have the Patriots winning this one, though, with all that being said. So Patriots win that one at Chicago. Let's move on to the Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, you look at this game right here. You have a Buffalo team that's made games ugly the past 2 weeks. They just cannot find the red zone for some reason. And, they had Nathan Peterman in last game against the Houston Texans, which ultimately lost them that game. And I feel like if Josh Allen was in there, maybe they could have beat the Houston Texans and upset some teams. And people are looking at them a different way, saying that the Buffalo Bills aren't as bad as you think they are, okay? They're facing the Indianapolis Colts team, who is 1-5 on the season right now. And Indianapolis Colts, even though they're a 1-5 team, they're better than what their record shows. They have been in competition with each and every team they face so far this season. It's something to see. But with that being said, if you cannot put up points against Andrew Luck, you have no chance of winning this game. And I feel like maybe the Bills defense can make it close with that defense they have, a young, feisty defense, but Andrew Luck is great. I'm going to have to go with the Indianapolis Colts to win this one. Let's move on. We have the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is being played in Jacksonville. Now, when I look at this game, this is an AFC South matchup, and if you don't know, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, so this is crucial for me. I like this game. I like this type of matchup. You really want this game to end in a tie, the way it's gone over the season with all these ties and whatnot. But when I'm looking at this game, who do I really see winning this game? The Texans are coming off a win against a Buffalo Bills team. They're starting to hit their stride. They start off 0-3 on the season. Now they won 3 in a row. Can they win 4 in a row? You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, who got embarrassed in Dallas with a 40-7 loss against the Dallas Cowboys. Now you're looking at that. Which team wants it the most? You're in Duval, so I'm going to have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars to bounce back in this one. I feel like that offensive line, and Deshaun is not playing as good as people thought he was going to play. I already said in the offseason, Deshaun is not what you think he is. That college play shuts down real quick when you get to the NFL. And in my opinion, I'm going to do a hot take maybe later, but he's not a winner, in my opinion. I feel like Deshaun Watson is not a winner right now. I mean, it's not that he can't be, but I have the Houston Texans losing here to Duval. Jacksonville beats them at home. Let's move on. We have the New Orleans Saints versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, you look at this game right here. You have the Baltimore Ravens coming off a huge victory, showing this absolutely embarrassing the Tennessee Titans at home with 11 sacks. You look at the Saints, who coming off a bye week against our tough Ravens defense. Well, who do I see winning this game? This game is being played at Baltimore, where that is a tough place to play for any opponent. You look at this team against a Saints team whose offense is pretty good, against a great defense, probably one of the best defenses this year, if not the best defense in the league this year. So you look at this game, it's going to be very interesting. Drew Brees has never beaten the Baltimore Ravens. Will he finally do it? I'm gonna have the Ravens giving the Saints their second L in the season, especially because this game is basically at home. That defense, I feel like will rally at home with that crowd and whatnot. I just have a bad feeling for the Saints this game. Maybe Drew Brees. This game will be close nonetheless, but at the same time, I'll have to go with the defense to outpower the offense in this one. Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. Now you look at this game right here, and you see a Dallas Cowboy team that looks poised to win the division right now. I mean, they do look poised to win the division right now. Philly is right in contention. You can never count out the Super Bowl champions for anything. They're still the Super Bowl champions. Put some respect on their name. But at the same time, you look at the Dallas Cowboys and say that we cannot overlook this team. And you look at the Washington Redskins, you cannot overlook them either. But right now, I really do trust the Redskins. I feel like they're probably poised to be the favorites for that division, in my opinion. This for this year. I mean, you do look at the Philadelphia Eagles as a threat, but right now the Washington Redskins are playing good ball, and I feel like the Dallas Cowboys, they have put up numbers for this past week, and maybe they're getting back on their stride, but at the same time, Dak didn't really have a great stat line for being a QB. You can't just always rely on your legs. Teams are going to figure that out sooner or later. I have the Washington Redskins winning this game. It's that simple, especially with it being at home. Let's move on to the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the LA Rams come into this game beating the Denver Broncos in a close one in Mile High. Then the 49ers come off a close win against the Green Bay Packers. Surprisingly, the 49ers are still competing. I mean, CJ Beathard is coming in there. He's balling out of his mind right now, but the Rams are still undefeated, sitting at a 6-0. You're going down to a division rival at their house, but the Rams are way too good to lose this type game. I do have the Rams going 7-0 on the season. The road to 16-0 continues. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now you look at this game right here. It's played on a Sunday night. Andy Dalton versus Patrick Mahomes. Now, do you really see, let's visualize with me. Do you really see Andy Dalton beating a Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs team with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Kareem Hunt, and Andy Reid-led offense? No, I do not see that happening, especially